If I had to summarize the relationship between Donald Trump's administration in the United States and Javier Milei's administration in Argentina, I could do it with one word: MAGA, Make America Great Again, or Make Argentina Great Again, the celebrated phrase of Donald Trump. The policies of both countries have been similar, with the difference that Milei began his term a year before Trump, and that Argentina isn't the United States and doesn't have a dollar printing machine. Big difference. Defunding education, science, the arts, public health, and social programs. Demonizing all those who think differently. Passing laws and appointing judges by decree without going through Congress. And how can we forget the continuous spread of fake news promoted by trolls aligned with the government? Sounds familiar? But that's where the similarity ends, because the US government, which prints dollars and uses them for its own benefit in its relations with countries around the world, and therefore gives nothing without knowing very well what it expects in return to maintain itself as a great world power. So, add to the Argentinian case legislators accused of financing their campaigns with drug trafficking money, accusations of bribery and influence peddling in the management of ministries, a crypto scam in which Milei was the main instigator, a judiciary that responds to the interests of the powerful, a super devaluation in the first 3 months of government that caused services such as electricity, gas, health, and transportation to rise between 300 and 500%, an indiscriminate opening to imports, financial interest rates of up to 108% per year that make it easier to make money investing than working, for those who have money, that is. And the cocktail is now ready for small businesses and national industry to become undercapitalized and close. There are to be massive layoffs, and poverty reaches levels never before seen in Argentina, with families going even deeper into debt to make ends meet. All of this accompanied by repression by the security forces of any peaceful demonstration seeking to exercise the rights granted by the Constitution, upheld only in name. In short, the bleeding of a country and its citizens. And here comes the large international loans to sustain the economic debacle of a country in free fall. Because if the country doesn't produce and generate its own foreign currency, but has to pay the high interest rates and interest on international loans from previous governments sympathetic to the current one, the option to continue going is debt. $20 billion from the International Monetary Fund in May, a failed elimination of agricultural taxes that lasted 2 days and only benefited large international corporations, contributing around $5 billion more in July, only to reach September-October to ask the US Treasury for another $20 billion to sustain the economy until the midterm elections at the end of October, and the promise of an additional $20 billion if Milei's party wins the elections. And all this money is only used to prop up a pro-US government and guarantee financial greed, meaning that the big international speculators, read vulture funds, JP Morgan, Citi, and the like, can withdraw their huge profits from the country without anything helping or reaching the Argentine people, who suffer and bleed to death, and who will ultimately be the ones who will have to pay these loans for generations. Absolute dependence. What does the US get? Argentina, beyond historically being a country that competed with the US in agricultural exports and meat, is rich in minerals, rare earth minerals, uranium, gas, oil, atomic energy, and clean, fresh water. And let's not forget the three naval and military bases that the US plans to use in southern Argentina, a bridge to Antarctica, an open door to the plunder of a country, a perfect recipe, checkmate for a free, independent, and sovereign country. Breaking news. In Argentina's midterm elections held on October 26, the ruling party won a resounding victory, paving the way for free change and fundamental reforms. The first to celebrate were Milei, who thanked the US for its assistance, and Donald Trump, who said, "The Argentine people justified our trust in them," and added, "The US made a lot of money."